In this video, I want to show one of the subjects typical of the Japanese tattoo, that is Kiyo Hime. Kiyo Hime is a very common subject for horimono, and I will use this wonderful reference of Yoshitoshi to explain and tell about Kiyo Hime. Before to tell you the story of the legend that is told in a kabuki play called Dojoji, I'll show you some particular of this ukiyo-e, because these cherry tree petals that flowering in the air represent the fragility of the life, and these triangle patterns that represent the scales of a snake are typical of the kimono of Kiyo Hime, because Kiyo Hime in the legend transforms herself in a serpent, and this pattern is typical to Kiyo Hime, and it represents a snake scale. And Yoshitoshi has also drawn the kimono of Kiyo Hime with a pattern very similar to the snake. This is the belly of the snake, and there are the scales, but in the tradition that pattern is the one that represents snake scales. In the legend, Kiyo Hime was a daughter of an innkeeper in the village of Masago, and Anchin was a handsome young monk from Aomori, that is a place in the north of Japan. And during his annual pilgrimages at the Kumano Shrine, that is located in the southeast of Kyoto and Osaka, Anchin stayed at the inn of the Kiyo Hime's father, and he was very kind to the little girl and gave her many small presents. And on annual visits of Anchin, Kiyo Hime declared a passionate love for him, but the devout Anchin told her that he's not it is impossible to return her love. So she's insisted, and he fled to his monastery. But for several days, her anger at being rejected intensified. So she set off in a pursuit of him, but found her way obstructed by the Hidaka River, which was in flood. In the throes of her uncontrollable emotion, she begins to turn into a serpent, and half transformed swam over the other side. So Anchin, who had fled to Dojo Temple on the banks of the river, was warned of her approach and tried to hide under the temple's bronze bell, was very heavy, over 10 feet high and weighing several tons. But Kiyo Hime found him and coiled herself around the bell. So her fury was so intense that the huge bell melted and killed them both. So this is the tragedy of Kiyo Hime, and she's so represented also in the Japanese tattoo. There are many versions of the legend, but this one is the one told on the Dojoji kabuki play.